Today has a very important significance, as today, March 11th, 2020, last year, was the day where COVID-19 was declared a pandemic. It was also the day where the sports world stood still as the NBA suspended their season, and soon after, everyone else followed, with maybe a few exceptions. And I remember it. I remember it a lot. I remember what I was doing, and I remember the events that came after. Watching TV that a few NBA games had been postponed. And I usually don't watch a whole lot of basketball. And I decided to turn it on one night, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're not getting a few games tonight. I think we're still going to be able to get the Utah Jazz game in, so I might be able to watch that. Although I was expecting that game to be postponed as well. But what I did not expect was for the NBA to completely announce that not only is the game being postponed, but the entire season would be suspended. That, in my opinion, was the moment where I realized, oh shit, this is going to get pretty serious very, very quickly if it hasn't already. And, I remember what happened after. NHL, MLB, NASCAR, they all followed suit. And, the only two, companies that I follow that I do follow that still managed to chug along were WWE and AEW. Say what you want about those early pandemic era shows with no crowd, but it was definitely a surreal sight and something that we're going to look back on in history and think, damn, that was a strange time. But to get personal for a minute, I do remember how it affected me. As a college student, you can obviously tell behind me that I am not in my dorm, but I am in my room. And what happened was that I got an email from the school, and we were getting ready to, I think, a few days into spring break. We were about a few days into spring break. So I was enjoying whatever time I could to relax. The school sends me an email that, okay, we are not going to have people, in-person classes until the end of the month, the end of March. So at the time I thought, okay, well, I guess spring break is extended by like 2-3 more weeks. So sweet. We get an extra long spring break. Little did I know what was about to happen next. On the local news, there were reports of other universities that were beginning to shut down and started to send students home. For all those students that had the ability to go home were able to do so. So I started to wonder. Basically, it was only a matter of time before my university came next. And it did a little bit before the March 30 deadline, where they originally intended us to have in-person classes. And got the follow-up email that said, alright, for everyone that has the ability to go home, please do so, and pack your bags on this day. It was like, pack your bags and move out on 2 days after the announcement. Nobody listened. I didn't listen. I immediately drove over to the university because I was within driving distance of it, and got all my stuff. And then, I think there was a few things that I forgot, so I went over the next day, and no one was there. No one was there. It was the emptiest I had seen my residence hall ever. it was probably the emptiest that I've ever seen any school that I've been to, ever. And went into my room. My roommate was already gone. My roommate and my good friend was already gone. I didn't get to say goodbye to him. I didn't get to say goodbye to my other friends. And I remember turning back, as I got the last of my things to a dark and empty room, and I said to myself, I think I'll be back. We'll be back soon. We'll probably be back in, by maybe the summer. Maybe before the start of the fall. That didn't happen. So I spent the rest of the 2020 semester at home, and I am finishing the rest of my college career right here. I'm in my last year as a senior. This is my last semester. And I will not be participating in the graduation commencement ceremony that they had planned for us, which was going to be a pre-taped, pre-produced video package. And I decided not to do it. I'm going to get my degree, and that'll be that. I do not want to participate in something that is very anticlimactic, but when you look at it either way, it's going to be anticlimactic. So I had promised myself that if I do manage to get vaccinated in time before the school year ends in May, that I would go over there and, properly have that closure, to properly meet up once again with the friends that I have made and at least say goodbye. I don't know if I'll be able to get vaccinated, before May. I'm hoping that is the case. But that is the promise that I had made to myself. Because I've realized that I do not want my experience to end like that. Without saying goodbye to anyone, without saying goodbye, because I had made a lot of memories living on campus, which was something that I originally didn't want to do, but when I had to factor in the weather and how it can get very cold in Missouri. So I made the right choice and I don't regret it. The work sucks. College work is terrible. It is the worst. But the on-campus experience and the memories and the connections and the bonds that I have made is something that I'm going to carry with me forever. Even if a global pandemic tried to take that away from me. So, to conclude, I want to ask you, when was the moment that you realized our lives were going to change forever? If you have an answer, please go in the comments and share your stories or experiences with how you've managed to cope over the past year. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.